Besides this gentleman, does anyone in the audience wish to address the board? All right, we're going to skip over to planning, building, and zoning. The trustee Stacy, so
Okay, Mayor. We'd like to consider a request for an accessory building exceeding 18 feet in height, 2-story, for a garage in the rear of 527 Woodward Street. The petitioner, Jason Herring, wishes to tear down his existing garage and construct a 2-story garage at the same footprint. The zoning ordinance states that only the village board can grant a permit for a 2-story accessory use. The survey of the village indicated that such permission was granted for a 2-story garage at only one location, 621 Elliott. There are a few other 2-story garages in the village, but they are constructed prior to zoning ordinance. Some have been permitted to be rehabbed. The petitioner plans on attending the meeting and will provide letters of no objections from his neighbors. Stuff has no objection to the request as long as the condition is placed on the permit and the second floor cannot be used for any type of living quarters. The garage will be matched appearance of the house. Please see the enclosed material, which is in here.
Well, you can. I'll do a little background first. If you look in the material, you'll see where the zoning ordinance says only the village board can grant an accessory structure exceeding 1 story. There's a diagram of the house provided in the blueprint, and according to the blueprint, the design of the garage matches the design of the house, correct? So it's a perfect match.
Correct.
I had all the neighbors, I advised the petitioner to get all his neighbors to agree to what he wants to do, and they all have. This petitioner has done everything that was asked of him, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't grant the permit. As long as you don't rent it out for living quarters or.
I might be,
Either
I'll
fight
probably
with
be
your
the
wife
only one
and you end up
sleeping
in
up
a
front. One wife disagrees with me.
Right, it's probably gonna be a man cave or a loft or something of that nature, I assume.
Half of it will be, yes.
Yeah,
all right.
now you can.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion approving this petition for the 2-story garage at 527 Woodward Street.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call. Kraus?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Benatti?
Yes.
Possession?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes.
And thanks, Jason, for following all the rules. Usually I get people that just scream at me, why do I gotta do all this stuff? You said, what do I gotta do to get it done?
I tend not to take off the people that can help me.
Thank you, sir. Good luck on your project.
Thank you very much, Board, I appreciate your
Proceed
help.
for a building permit, you'll be called in a couple of days.
Yeah, because the demo permit's already approved, so I'm just waiting on the actual building permit, and then we'll get the ball rolling from there.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again, everybody, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Guys, have a good night.
Okay, the building department's monthly report for February is supposed to be reviewed. And Planning and Zoning Commission will meet on Thursday, March 24th, 7 p.m. at the Washington Township Center. The meeting was moved to the township to accommodate a larger audience that may attend to hear about the purpose, business, park phasing, and design in addition to the public hearing changes to the zone ordinance being proposed. If the PZC makes a recommendation at these matters, the village board will formally consider them on the April 11th village board meeting. And that's my report.
Go back to the beginning. Village clerk report. Everyone has a copy of the clerk's report. Total tax income received in the month of February is $251,746.89. We did not receive a payment from Illegal Energy this last month. They're having some issue with making those payments. I'm not really sure what that is. So, and reminder to all the residents, tomorrow, March 15th, is the deadline to purchase dog tags. After tomorrow, dog tag fees will increase to $15 each. We'll have a short grace period, and then those who haven't purchased their dog tags will be turned over to the police department for enforcement. We haven't been doing enforcement that much in the last couple of years, so this is a warning. That's all I have.
All righty, Village Commission report, Beautification Commission, Superintendent Connor.
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay. 4th of July Commission, Trustee Kraus.
The next meeting is next Wednesday, the 23rd, at 6:30 PM in the food stand, and the Trailblazer is in, and it'll be on display shortly, correct?
Yes.
And that's all I have.
Yay.
Sorry.
Youth Commission, Trustee Session.
Thank you. So the Mother Sundance is coming up on March 26th, and then the next BYC meeting will be tomorrow at 7:30 PM. Here, that is all.
All right.
Did we have a space issue resolved?
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right. And then, Matt, I will plan to get the BYC in contact with you to discuss arrangements for storage of moving storage from the storage container into the garage then.
Okay, Ben, you said they were going to not use the storage container at all anymore, so we can pretty
Yeah.
much flip-flop.
We can pretty much flip-flop, but they're gonna wanna toss some stuff, I think actually a good chunk of it.
Okay,
So probably there'll be some coordination there, I think.
yeah, for sure. Just let us know.
Sounds good.
Historic Preservation Commission, Trustee Kaporis.
Right, we have a cleanup on March 16th, 17th if needed, starting at 8 AM on the 16th. I believe Matt was lining up the dumpster, all that's good to go, right?
It was delivered today, as long as the residents don't dump anything in it over the next couple days, it's there.
Okay. So, and then I'm assuming Jeanette probably have a possible setup day and organization after the cleanup's done.
I talked to at least two of the main members. They're both gonna be at the cleanup day to tell people what to do, and then, we can see what's left over when we're done, and then figure out where to move from there.
Okay. Just a reminder, be patient with these guys. It's a lot of stuff there that probably needs to get thrown out, but they'll have a hard time letting it go because of the history of it.
Yeah.
So
Understandable.
we just gotta be patient with them and let them look through it and come to the realization that it's just, some of the stuff's damaged. beyond-
Damaged, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Under my report, a reminder that our next village board meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 28th at 6 PM at the Public Works Garage to review the budget as proposed by Finance Committee. Only items needed to be voted upon will be on the agenda. This is the last chance to change the venue or the time. I kind of like the idea of doing it there because we have table space to spread out and put papers down. You have a little more room than you have here.
Do you want to make it 6:30 instead of 6, or keep it at 6?
Is anybody gonna have a hard time with 6? Or is everybody okay with 6
Could be
o'clock?
6. Okay, we'll go
Alright.
at 6.
Okay, and then we will need an executive session later, but we can do that at the end. Finance and Administration Committee, Trustee Kaporis.
Consider a motion approving the treasurer's report. Donna?
The February month-end balance of the village accounts, $3,465,755.08. The February month-end of the commission and special accounts, $209,683.32. The combined total, $3,655,438.40. The month end in general, $1,101,204. Again, we trend over $1 million in general. And the commission non-AP payments for the month of February totaled $278,738.29. Little bit higher this month. We had the IEPA payment of over $32,000. We also purchased police department purchased a golf cart. But other than that, just your typical expenses. And if there are no questions, that would be the end of my report.
I'll go ahead, if nobody has any questions, I'll go ahead and make a motion approving the treasurer's report for the month prior.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Caprows,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes. Variance reports are enclosed for your review. Consider a motion approving the bills and payroll for the previous month. A couple of additions, since it was emailed, that have been added is Leap Supply for $6.36. Peerless Phone Network, $1,831.44. That was all the new ones, and then there is a couple of corrections. One being the County of Will. The correct total for that bill is $10,837.40. It was off by $70. That was a simple additional error put into the calculator. And then Todd's Techies. That total, that's a simple transposition error. That total should be $29.62.50, not $29.26. For an increase of 36. So with the two increases, one being 70 even, the other one being 36, that's $106 added to the total bills. So I'll go ahead and make a motion for bills for the month prior totaling $142,960.84.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes. Staff has begun a comprehensive overview of the village personnel manual and job description files. It's been a little over 4 years since this last review. These documents, the committee will be given these documents to review once the budget process is complete. We hope to have then the manuals ready for consideration for the board in June. If there's no questions, that concludes my report.
Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation Committee, Trustee Giannotti.
Splash pad work is scheduled to begin in late April. There's still a need to place the rubberized tile on the concrete surface, and we should be ready for a Memorial Day weekend grand opening.
That is the goal, correct, man?
Correct, yeah. Weather permitting.
The Nicor gas service extension to 675 Penfield update.
She was out there, she made her measurements, our connection's gonna be free, they're gonna run a free main up the road. Did you meet with her, did you see her out there?
No, never.
She called me and she said she's gonna send me the paperwork, I haven't seen that yet either. But she did come out, and they're gonna run a free main down the road, and they're gonna run a service line to our building from the main. So we get 60 feet of free service.
Will they run it directly over to?
If it's over 60 feet, we have to pay so much a foot for what's over 60, but chances are, we're better off paying what's over the 60 and put it in where you need it.
So the main will run up our service road to the edge of the building?
Correct.
And they'll cut us a service line across?
Correct.
Okay.
And then there's still gonna be a 90-degree bend in it.
Yeah.
To get it into the meter, I don't know why that's an issue there.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna do,
Okay.
but I don't know when. It's a guess.
Yeah, well, progress. And then the summer concert series update. As of right now, still trying to secure entertainment for the September 3rd event. Got a few more no responses in recently.
Is it possible for one of you to write us a quick little article for the newsletter on what bands you have coming and who the hosts are for those evenings?
Yes.
Okay, we wanna get that in the spring newsletter.
Okay, absolutely. We can cover that. Working on a few food vendors for the night that we were planning on the food trucks. 4th of July Commission is ready to go for the 3rd. Yep. And the Lions Club is getting ready with their beef roast for August, so. Other than that.
People ask me, do we have a rain or shine policy? I don't know, you got a roof over where the
Yeah.
band is, are you gonna go regardless of weather, or just cancel on the fly if you have?
when we put the article in for the Southland region, we put in that it was rain or shine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the intent is that, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, bad weather, like we said.
There's a
dangerous
lightning
weather,
storm.
you know.
Yeah, that's one thing, yeah, but if
No,
there's rain
you
and
show up and
it's
there's lightning,
controlled.
you're staying there.
Right.
Yeah. You
All or
can't
nothing.
leave.
More for the light show, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are we advertising this? Just social media?
At this time, that was.
Would it be
planned.
advantageous to get some kind of sign for maybe like church and Route 1 or something? I mean,
It's
banner,
possible.
a sign, something to, so people
Yeah.
know.
Our entrance signs to town.
I was just gonna say, if only we had an LED sign.
Only we had an electronic.
Yeah, there is,
Well, if you can get it up tomorrow, I mean, go, we'll put it up there, but.
I believe, yeah,
The newsletter goes out to all the residents.
yes.
But
Yeah, but
people
I'm saying,
respond.
something that people just drive
Yeah,
by,
there is-
don't see our newsletter, don't
You know
look
what?
at it.
The four
shred it,
entrances
whatever
to
you do.
town, those things are mounted, and I know the guy who knows how they work.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
I know the guy.
Oh,
I know other towns that have these summer concert series, they usually have one banner that have all the dates and
Yeah,
bands
so
on
just put a big
them.
banner, I
Yeah,
mean,
just-
even just one coming south into town, you know,
Yeah.
somewhere, just, so, big banner, I know, well, I think half of us know somebody who can do a nice banner that lives in town, so, I mean, we can,
yeah,
you know, probably won't be expensive at all.
there's room in the budget to do that, so.
Yeah.
We can definitely get that done.
Okay, until we get our LED sign, we'll do it that way.
Yeah,
Or we can do it both ways.
we can do it both, I don't see why not, I mean,
Okay, we'll talk offline.
yeah,
Get something like that.
we can get something set up. And, that will conclude my report.
All right. Public Safety Committee, trustee Terry.
Yes, the police department monthly report is closed for review. Chief, do you have anything you want to update on?
Yes, Madam President and those board members, good evening. We are gonna have a presentation called Bruce Burglary. It's gonna be targeted towards senior citizens and scams towards senior citizens. I've already talked to the township, and it's gonna be a joint presentation between the township and the village. It's gonna be on a future Tuesday at 10 in the morning. Again, we're gonna be targeting senior citizens, and that, we will announce that as soon as we get the date from the instructor, and then we would need help promoting that. Sergio Garcia is one of our police candidates. He's gonna start the State Police Academy on April 24th in Springfield, so looking pretty forward to that. And then Dylan Serta, who was just sworn in, is our fourth part-timer. Once Sergio graduates from the academy, we'll be up to full staff of 10 officers. And that's all I got.
Block camera.
Yeah, definitely.
Block camera.
The flock cameras, today, the flock cameras were installed on Indiana. So the only ones that are not in are the 4 on Route 1 and IDOT, you know, and it takes months probably before they'll get approved for permit, so we really can't control it.
Yeah, I got a question, do we have a date for the bike rodeo yet? The only reason I'm asking is we're trying to get this newsletter put out,
Well,
and that's an important
I
date.
wonder, I wonder if we could discuss that. So I talked to Lieutenant Emerson and Linda Krug, and they said that they have done it the first Saturday of June, because then they're able to send leaflets and everything out to the kids, the parents of the kids, so they know when it is. It's the best advertisement they thought. So, I mean, I'm open, and I know that it was talked about the Saturday, I think it's July 2nd before the 4th, but they're recommending it be the first Saturday of June and not that date, only because there's so much going on then, they're not quite sure how many kids would show up for it, but in the past, they have shown up for the first Saturday in June, so.
I like the idea of the second. The only thing is that the chief and I were talking about manpower issues because all our officers are there. And on the second, if we go with June, you know, our officers will be able to be there to assist and volunteer and be at each station, because there's different safety stations in the rodeo.
Okay, does that conflict with garage sale days or anything, if they do the first Saturday in June?
That is garage sale days, I think, or at least the
So-
tentative date for garage, but I don't know if that's.
So I'm gonna throw this out there, and it's one of the, chief, one of the issues, which is kind of like a history thing here, which I know you're not familiar with, that, and some of them, some people maybe didn't necessarily tell you, is that while the second helps, doing it the first Saturday in June, because you have the advantage of the school sending home the notices, okay, because elementary still does paper, flyers sent home. However, attendance over the past how many years of doing the same thing has produced poor results. I think sometimes you gotta change things up to see what kind of results you would get in comparison. And if you do more of that same first weekend in June, the fact of the matter is most of these parents, times have changed, they don't look at the flyers coming home. And secondly, it comes home at the last group of flyers, and I know most of us that had kids in elementary school here, that's the one folder you don't look at because they're done with school anyway. Any flyers that are in there are kind of meaningless. We didn't have, we didn't have the social media presence the village has now, along with, I think, tying it in. I understand it might be difficult, but I think we can get the volunteers, I think, from the board and stuff to still pull it off if you choose a different day. And the other big problem is that first Saturday, was the thought process of possibly moving it to July. Every year you compete with the softball and baseball kids and t-ball kids. They all have games those Saturdays. That's why the attendance is poor, because they're already doing something. So I think that was kind of the thought process of bringing up of trying a different date.
It's also probably worth noting, if you do stick with that beginning of July date, I'm not sure, I think that's the day that the Lions Club does their 4K run.
And that
in the
ties
morning,
EMA
and
up
that's it.
all morning.
Yeah,
Now, but that'd be the 4th. We're talking July 2nd, not the 4th.
Saturday the second.
Yeah. The concern we had with July 2nd is we're asking a lot of the officers, because they'll be working late Friday night, they gotta come back in the morning, then they gotta come back Saturday night. So it is gonna be more of a volunteer effort than an officer effort. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve with the bike road game. If it's bike safety, use the volunteers. If it's getting the cops in with the grade school kids, that may not be the best day to do it. We gotta figure that one out. And that's why I'm asking for the date, because I knew there were differences of opinion.
And I'm okay with trying a new date and seeing how that turns out. See if we do get better attendance.
But he's right though with the ball games. You're competing with the ball games. How about the last Saturday in June, John, the week before?
Any other
It's still
Saturday,
baseball time?
yeah, it's just,
That's
Yeah,
that could be
tournament
their
weekend.
play, yeah, that's
Yeah.
their tournament weekend. So, depending how good they do,
yeah.
they might have most of it.
But usually you have at least one Beecher team in it, and every other team is going to support them, and it's just, with those kids that are involved in rec and stuff, it's such a large percentage at that age group that it's just, you get no turnout. The parents gotta get to a baseball game in Monee or in Crete for an 11 o'clock game, they don't have time to take their kids to a bike rodeo at 9 AM or 8 AM, and,
Well, if they win, they're there all day.
yeah. No, I'm saying on that first weekend in June.
I think there has been a lack of advertising in the last few years too. I don't think it's been posted at the post office in the windows of the PD,
Yeah.
It wasn't on social media. And I think we can work on that a little bit better.
I'm thinking out of the box here. Why not a Friday night or
I was gonna say, does
Sunday
it have to be
afternoon, sure.
Saturday? I mean, if you guys are looking for a different date.
It's really
Why does it have to
late
be
out on
Saturday?
Fridays. I mean, you could do it from 5 to 8 and you'd have plenty of daylight till 8 o'clock. That time of year. Just throwing it out there, I don't know.
You mean like the first?
Well, but that's,
Yeah, like
if
the first.
you do a Friday night,
You
you're gonna get into baseball again and the parking lot's gonna
Yeah,
be.
and Sunday's the same way, isn't it?
No,
play games on
they
Sundays?
usually don't plan, they usually don't plan Sundays, they can, but they usually don't. So, but I mean, rec should have their schedule by now for, well, soon, they should have their schedule soon for
Yeah.
baseball usually.
We understand all the issues, we'll come up with a date.
We'll work on a date this week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay with the second, if with starting, just to see if we get better attendance, I'm fine with that, if that's what the board wants.
Why don't we check and see?
Would you be able to assist, Bob, if we did it on June 2nd?
As long as
July
the
2nd?
5K was, because that ties us up all morning.
Yeah, 5K's gonna go on the 4th,
That's
I
a
believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, we'd be available.
And we might not have enough officers, but if we can get some board members to volunteer, that'd be
And
good.
it depends what your objective is with this. If your objective is to get the uniformed officers in with the kids, then we need to make sure we have some there.
Well,
If your
there's
objective
one
is
of the
bike
objectives.
safety, then we could do it as volunteers. But it depends on what the mission is.
But we'll have enough off, we'll have 3 or 4 officers at the very minimum.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the EMA monthly report is enclosed. You got anything you wanna know?
Yes, today I received a phone call from the junior high. The girls volleyball team is going down state this Saturday. They're wanting some type of a parade when they get back into town between 6 and 8 p.m. Somehow the school has thought that EMA is in charge of this now for any athletic parade, which I'm okay with. But I think we need to set up some protocol and some standards that we're not zipping around the town at 11 o'clock at night. Maybe have a certain parade route so people will know. But how does the board feel about these parades going late at night?
I see the stuff on Facebook all the time, and it's just kinda, it happens once or twice a year if the kids actually make that accomplishment and make it downstate. We've had a nice little string here where it's been like 1 a year, but
It doesn't matter?
it doesn't bother me. I'm not bothered.
Anybody else? No?
Doesn't bother me.
Between 6 to 8, okay, make notifications.
I would suggest that if we do it, send out a nixle message, so that
Okay.
people know that there's sirens in town, it's not county burning down.
And we can put on all the Beecher Facebook pages to also, you know.
Yeah, if we know it's coming, we should be able to
But,
advertise.
like I said, for some reason, he said that the fire department told him I was in charge of these parades from now on, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with it.
I think your predecessor kinda set you up for that, was kinda like a go-to call on that, and just did it. But I think, Bob, to be honest with you, every once in a while you get the person on Facebook going, what's this,
Yes,
oh my God.
yeah.
But I don't think ever in the past there's any been like a warning, like, hey guys, this is happening in the next couple hours, keep your ears and eyes open, and this is why,
Okay,
I
Or
think
go out and
that,
watch them go by when they come by your
yeah.
house.
Well, you know what, most people do, when we go around with them, as long as I plan it, the fire department will have their equipment, we'll have ours, and if there's a police available, we'll have them, but usually we try to space so many cars and then an emergency vehicle, so we're trying to protect the whole group. But I had no problem running this, but I just didn't know how everybody felt. I mean, this is a good time between 6 and 8,
yeah,
but we've been out at 11 and I didn't know how everybody felt about that.
I think a nixle advisory message would be perfect for that.
Yeah, because a lot of people get nixle, and
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
And if they don't have it, say, well, we said that on nixle, you should have signed up for it, you would have known about it.
Okay,
You
that's all I got.
Thanks.
know.
The code enforcement's been active, his monthly report is also enclosed in there for everybody's review. Our Larway Communications Center annual reports for 2021 is enclosed. Currently, we're paying $127,000, or $332 per year for the service. This is a life safety issue for our officers and our residents of the community. This is something that we pay attention to. Currently, our administrator is serving as an officer on the board. And that is all I have. Mayor.
All right. Public Works Committee, Trustee Kraus.
Thank you. Public Works Superintendent monthly report is enclosed along with the Water Department monthly report. Water billing register for the months of January and February is enclosed for review. Bill to pump is 70%. This is a major improvement of over 53% from last year. Consider an amended construction management services agreement with Baxter and Woodman Engineers in the amount of $86,000 for the Cole Street water main replacement project. We previously entered into agreement with Baxter and Woodman for this project, but the Illinois DCEO required some additional language be added to the agreement since this is now a federal job. This language has been added and requires another approval from the village. It's recommended this agreement be approved. So I will make a motion to amend the construction management services agreement Baxter and Woodman in the amount of $86,000 for Gold Street water main replacement project.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second? There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Caprows,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes. Penfield Street, update?
Yeah, there's really nothing new other than we are closing on rights of way and easements. As I said before, we're still scheduled, unfortunately, we're not going to bid on this job till June 17th. And it keeps dragging and dragging, all these little details, it's so aggravating, but I think we're gonna hit this bid date.
Miller Street Water Main Replacement Design update? Matt?
All the areas over there have been GPS located, all the B boxes and valve boxes. We may have a design meeting tomorrow. I haven't heard back from Baxter. Bob, have you? No. So we're supposed to do a quick design meeting with them here soon, but we haven't heard back. So.
It probably is to see what alternatives we have for the routing of the main power line.
Right.
And then later I'll request executive session to discuss replacement employee for Public Works. That's all I have.
Economic Development Community Relations Committee, trustee session.
Thank you. Last chance to suggest an article for the spring newsletter. Drafting articles begins this week with a publication and mailing date around April 19th. So, obviously we were talking about the concert series, so there's that idea. And then one thing I was thinking about, I know we had talked a little bit at one point about a spring cleanup day. I don't know if that's going anywhere, but if it is, that would probably be a potential idea.
That would be a Saturday night. We did talk about that last fall.
Yeah, we never got into deep discussion, which
Yeah.
if we want to do that, we should probably get talking about it
Get
soon,
talked
you
about
know.
then. Yeah, something like at the end of April maybe.
I think you can get a lot of kids, my kid just had National Honor Society ceremonies and a lot of kids
You two
in there.
talk.
It just that increases their service hours needed drastically, so probably got a lot of kids, a lot of them sophomores that just got inducted in brand new this year that are all gonna need I think they require 50 hours or something by the time they graduate, so.
I smell an SRO pilot project.
Yeah, I think you can get some help for that.
Yeah, and that'd be perfect, we got a liaison in the high school, let's get kids to sign up for cleanup day, we just need a date.
All right, we'll talk then, Matt.
Logistics.
Okay.
Also too, I've got an article, how we had discussed with, sharing our behind the scenes of our village employees. I've got a piece I interviewed Chief Fleming, who's volunteered to be our first one, so do you want me to send that to you, or do I?
I mean,
You did this interview?
Yeah.
I would say just
I
go
think
ahead
we did the music too, so we'll see.
You can just maybe send it to Jeanette, and I would love if you would CC me on it then.
Okay, gotcha. We're ready to roll.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
that's
gonna be a
good.
full page.
So
4
it's just-
decades of policing is kinda
Yeah,
hard to.
We should
put
just
on
do like
square.
a 2-pager.
And something
With
down
photos.
the road,
Yes.
Multiple
I think
photos.
the police department should have a section in the newsletter for anything that your department wants promoted or told about. You know what I'm saying? With a police department section in the newsletter. It's not too hard to do, but it's something I'd like to see.
I think,
The Beecher Police page.
I think we should definitely put something in there on code enforcement. That there is,
I think he's got some ideas for that, now that I think about it.
He's already submitted an article about
Yeah.
enforcing the basketball hoops in the parkway. We can add some more general information in addition to that.
so, yeah, I think, but it looks at the report, it looks like a lot of residents are getting to meet them already, but. It's like, there's some few that he hasn't met yet, so they wanna do a
It's
little.
amazing what he
intro
gets
that
done
way.
in a 4-hour shift, it's amazing.
Yep, sounds good. That concludes my report then, Mayor.
All right. Any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? Would someone like to make a motion to go into executive session for the 2 items listed?
I'll make the motion.
Should I state them first before the, okay, to authorize president and clerk to sign a purchase agreement for a parcel of land to be publicly identified prior to the adoption of the ordinance, and to consider hiring a public works employee. Would someone make that motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Who seconded it, sorry?
It was Joe. Terry.
I know, but
Not
it's
me.
this one.
I'm fine.
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Unati,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.